Good evening, everyone. Buenas noches, todas y todos. Welcome to our Richmond Rising Community Stakeholder Committee, also called CSC. Quiero mencionarles a las personas presentes que tenemos interpretación del lado derecho. Ahora se encuentra Leti, que es nuestra intérprete. Si alguien necesita audífonos, los tenemos en la parte de aquel lado y pueden tomar para que escuchen la interpretación en español. Nuestra intérprete es Leticia Oregón. We want to remind you that this meeting requires all TCC project leads to be present in person here at Nevin Community Center, located at 598 Nevin Avenue, Richmond, California, zip code 94801. Any community members who want to join the meeting, including partners, residents, students, business owners, or any other persons who are interested in the project, can do it in person or through Zoom webinar. The link can be seen on our screen. Sorry, I'll stop the meeting just for a second so we can fix that. Can we continue? Okay.
And can you let us know again if it's a challenge? We asked for this people partners to cover them, but yeah.
Okay, it's 6:03, and I'm calling this Richmond Rising Community Stakeholder Committee meeting to order. And I will do the roll call now. So I will mention the name of your organization and please confirm your name to include it in the meeting record. Project lead for City of Richmond, Beatriz Guerrero. Project lead for Greek.
Ambassador Ken Pave.
Project lead for Groundwork, Richmond. Let's record that our Groundwork Richmond project lead is not present yet. Project lead for Rich City Rights. Project lead for Trust for Public Land. Project lead for UC Berkeley. Project lead for Urban Till. Thanks, everyone. Let the record reflect that all community stakeholder stakeholder committee project leads are present except for project lead for Groundwork Richmond. We're gonna do our land acknowledgement. Matthias, if you have something related to confirming the language, can we just please take it off the screen so people can look at what we have in there? While Richmond Rising seeks to strengthen the community, improve public health and the environment, particularly in the Iron Triangle, Santa Fe, and Coronado neighborhoods, we do so with the awareness that we occupy unceded Eugene and Parkino-Ohlone territory. We acknowledge that land theft of indigenous homelands and the dismantling of indigenous sovereignty was done to advance colonization. We acknowledge that capitalism and white supremacy are branches of colonization that have persisted throughout hundreds of years of oppression, are alive today and contribute to keeping Black, Indigenous, and all other people of color from thriving. We further acknowledge that this country's political economy and social institutions were built on the forced labor of African people on stolen land through violent, systematic abduction from their homelands and enslavement under hundreds of years. We further acknowledge the exploitation of immigrant and refugee communities as modern forms of cheap and disposable labor are regularly carried out on stolen land. Thus, we acknowledge that we have been impacted and harmed by these stories and experiences imposed on our ancestors and communities. We further uplift this shared struggle among Black, Indigenous, and all people of color. We acknowledge that that Indigenous people continue to live here, steward the land, and resist settler colonialism. We conclude that our land acknowledgement is an active and evolving statement and process, and it requires us to recognize historical injustices and invites us to be active participants in our collective healing. For the people who are here present, both project leads and residents, this meeting is connected to the Richmond Rising Project. We the city of Richmond and six local organizations, together known as Richmond Rising, received $35 million to bring health, economic, and environmental benefits to three neighborhoods, the Iron Triangle, Santa Fe, and Coronado. Richmond Rising is supported by the California Strategic Growth Council Transformative Climate Communities Program, which is the organization that provided the grant to the city and the six organizations that are part of this project. This meeting is called the Collaborative Stakeholder Committee, and it provides guidance on project implementation and holds us accountable in reaching the goals that the grant established, and can help us to make recommendations, provide input, and assist the project leads sitting here in the table in implementing project activities. It does not have a final decision-making authority. However, all the project leads must consider recommendations from the community and also members of the public. So thanks to everyone for being here. We are very happy to have residents and people who are attending this meeting that are not only the project leads. So thanks for being here. This is a time where we include public comment on the agenda. This means we open the forum for anyone who wants to provide feedback on what we are working on, which is the TCC grant. We just ask you to take not more than 2 minutes to provide public comment if you want to provide any comment in this part of the meeting. Do we have any members of the public or any members of the organizations that we have in here today that would like to provide a public comment?
I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I'm the president of the coordinating council.
Welcome.
Obviously, they got this communication regarding, but I did hear that it's $35 million.
Correct.
Specifically, what is it to be used for?
Yeah, the purpose of this grant is to reduce greenhouse emissions. These guidelines were provided by the Strategic Growth Council, as I mentioned before, and the purpose is to create projects that are neighborhood projects that help us reduce greenhouse emissions, improve the health of the community, as well as environmental impact in the community. And the organizations that are sitting here in the table, who are the project leads, are the ones who created different projects with the community input from residents in the project area to develop the final application that we submitted for the grant. And we're very happy to respond to any questions that you have. And some of the projects are not yet implemented. We are actually in the design process. So that's why we're very happy to have you here, because that's part of the things that we want to work with you on.
Another question. Do you still have all of the $35 million? If not, so what have you spent? How much of it have you spent? Where did you spend it? And what did you spend it on?
So we're going to talk in the next item, the project status report. So you will see how much money has been assigned to each of the 15 projects that we are working on, and how much they have spent on each of the projects and what exactly they're working on since the start of the grant.
Yeah, I haven't last week. And we have 3 communities, right? Santa Fe and Coronado. How are you going to divide that part equally each neighborhood, or as each neighborhood have a need?
Yeah, so you will hear about each of the projects. Some of the projects are connected to the streets. For example, we have the development of 2 complete streets, which are Ohio and Harvard. That's a very specific project that is focused on 2 streets that where we got community input and really need upgrading and really need bus stops and bike lanes and other measures to slow the speeding of some of the streets. You will hear from other projects that each of the organizations are working on and that are open for any neighborhood that wants, for example, resilient homes or solar panels, improving all the systems that they have at home. We're also talking about planting 1,000 trees, which is still a project that is figuring out where the locations are gonna be. We have another project that has e-bike share system. They're still figuring out where exactly they're gonna place the bike stations. So we are still in the process of design for a lot of these projects, and you will hear from each of the project leads on what are they up to right now, and you can definitely ask questions about how the planning is gonna be within the neighborhoods. But I'm just giving you the big picture of it, because we have 15 different projects, and yeah, we'll be happy to respond to any questions that you have on each of them. Yes?
That's what, you say about the community input.
It's been different for each of the projects. We can let you know once each of the project leads speaks about their project, where exactly they gather community input, because I know it has been happening in different locations and places, but everything has been happening within the 3 neighborhoods.
Was there a person on the property?
Well, we have been trying to get invited to your meetings. We actually have sent 2 or 3 emails to try to get to your meetings. We went to the Iron Triangle Neighborhood Council. They were the ones who accepted to come to present to their meetings. So we're very happy to come. If you let us come to your meetings, we're very happy to get us in the agenda if it's possible.
Individual and a neighbor council. We had 15 projects, we're going to hear about. The first figured out as part of the project, which you do, you look for the neighbors, people. And how our input has we know what you want to do. We know where you want to happen. So what?
A lot of the projects, as I mentioned, require still information on where they're going to be located, and they bring benefits that are usable on each of the households. So people can go and apply for the programs that are available, and that doesn't mean that we're going to allocate it however we want. You guys can make your decisions. For example, we have fruit trees that are going to be given to community members, whoever wants to come pick them up. We actually send a postcard to each of the households in the whole project area through the 3 neighborhoods. We actually got the addresses of each of the households on every neighborhood to submit an invitation to the event that we're hosting, and to let them know what the project is about. So I hope you will be getting that this week. Not yet. They came out Saturday, I believe.
Oh.
Is it going to have
Yes. Well, can we talk about that in the presentation, because we have a full list of updates on each of the projects, if that's okay with you.
Is the whole bunch of
I think so. They're part of our team here. You can talk to Mayeli if you want after yeah, she's a representative of the organization.
and this group that's here to take, where are you from?
We can introduce ourselves if you want. We just passed the roll call earlier, but my name is Beatriz Guerrero, and I represent the city of Richmond. Yes.
Yeah. No way they could be outside.
I don't think she will be able to hear.
Should maybe try to move all their chairs.
Okay, you.
Beatriz Guerrero, city of Richmond. And are you guys okay with introducing? I mean, I'm happy to have public, so yeah, we can change the.
Yeah, Chito Floriano, Director of Farm and Gardens with Urban Till.
Yeah, maybe the project manager for the bicycle and the library, whoever to see right.
This,
My name is Bill, project manager, a bicycle and library, which should be right, yes. Hi everyone, I am Anisha Bruno, and I am with the UC Berkeley team to work as the evaluation team, so we don't implement the project necessarily, but. Lorena Castillo with Brown Richmond. And our organization is a planning tree, so we'll be working directly with you folks to identify the treatment and location.
Hi, my name, my name is Terrence. I'm with Trust Public Land. We're working on the Richmond Wellness Trail, phase two. Phase one was already done, and it's the bike infrastructure.
I'm Investor Contave. I'm with Grid Alternatives. We are an energy partner. We install solar within the city of Richmond. We've been doing it for 20 years.
Matthias and
Oh, yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Matthias Husterbrock, with the City of Richmond and supporting kind of the background in this process.
Evan.
I'm a Stephanie Casas, I'm an intern with the planning.
Alejandro, you want to introduce yourself and do you guys want to introduce yourselves too?
Sure, it's my name, I'm with NPE, in partnership with the Home Project, with the $300.
So,
And just, you know, the Richmond.
But thank you, because we're probably gonna have the largest amount of questions. Emma, you want to,
My name is Sarma. I am the community manager for Grand City. You arrive. You see us for the station. Right up here.
I hope that was good for you to know who's sitting at the table. So we have one representative from the city, which is me, even though we have way many people working on the projects that are going to be happening. And we have one representative from every organization that was partner when we applied to the grant. So thanks for being here.
How many of you live in Richmond?
You guys want to raise your hands? You're very welcome. So this is the part where we share the project status reports. Any partner shares up-to-date financials and grant expenditures to date for each project, and shares with the community and public. So for the grantee, which is the city of Richmond, what happened since last meeting is we got the Strategic Growth Council Implementation Technical Assistance Grant Agreement and placement contract approved by City Council. And we are finalizing the UC Berkeley execution of their contract, so they can of their agreement, so they can work with us. We are organizing each of these meetings. This is our second one. We schedule and coordinated the facilitation of this meeting, including interpretation and translation, refreshment and childcare. We have childcare in the room, so if anyone requires to bring their family and kids, we have a room in the back where children can come to the meetings too. We are also doing a bi-monthly invoice and reporting of this grant since the execution. So we have submitted invoice and project reports 1 to 3. Invoice 2 and 3 have been approved by the Strategic Growth Council, and we have a reimbursement check that was received actually today. So it's our first check received by the state. So that was a huge accomplishment, because it took us a really long time to get it. But today that we have spent $62,000, and we still have $630,000. Just so everyone knows, this is supposed to last for the 5 years. This is the project where we manage everything that is happening today in this meeting, plus working with the partners directly, so we can get invoices submitted to the state and pay all the providers that work with the city. So this is what is being done internally. And for the next 2 weeks, we're going to have a CSD meeting agenda circulating to everyone who's here. And if you registered your email in the sign-up sheet, we can also share that with you if you're interested to get all the information. We're going to start invoice and report number 4. As everyone knows in this table, like it's the time to get into invoicing again. We appreciate your help with that in the next few days. And we are processing and paying invoices from partners. And the other thing that is happening right now is, together with Urbanville, We're working on the Earth Day Richmond Rising kickoff, plus all the other partners who decided to join this event. This is happening on April 20th for Earth Day. We're gonna be at Unity Park for the people who don't know about this. We'll talk about this later. We're gonna be doing Richmond Rising kickoff in that celebration. And we have the neighborhood complete streets progress report. Do you want me to go and give it to them? Joseph? Okay. So last week, CIP manager who's sitting back there reviewed the design proposal that we received from consultants and requested changes. Our consultant firm is CSWST2, and they updated the design proposal, and it was just approved yesterday to start working on this. That has to do with the neighborhood complete streets. Expenditures to date is $3,846.71, and we still have 5 million in this bucket. That's for the neighborhood complete streets construction and design. And in the next 2 weeks, we will begin working on this specific project. And I think that's it for this update. I will let Trust for Public Land give their own project status report.
For the Richmond Wellness Trail, we're still in the process of contract negotiations with the landscape architects. So we're working on drafting the contract, and our legal team is reviewing all the items. Total expenditures to date are $6,300, and we have $4.8 million left. And then in the next 2 weeks, we're going to finalize this contract to bring placements on board to begin work.
Fantastic, thank you. Resilient homes. So I'm getting when we finish, when we finish at the finish, as soon as we finish the report, yes, we can open the space for questions. So yes, each of those slides is the report for each of the projects.
The complete three, project,
Yes,
okay, you can't talk about it.
I think because we're following the guidelines to complete this meeting as a round up meeting, we go through the agenda item, and once we finish, we open it for public. Yeah, is that okay? Awesome.
So representing the Resilient Homes project with Grid Alternatives and MCE, please forgive my voice, it's a little hoarse. Since we last met, we completed our first complete client install with both energy efficiencies and solar. In fact, that was completed on Monday. We have had 4 energy efficiency reads and retrofits through our partners, MCE and Franklin. 3 outreach events conducted in which we were in the community, spreading the word about CCC and the like. Please excuse me, to date, I have not, in our last report, what was reported, our total expenditures were $55,000, and the remaining budget was about
6.9.
$6.9 million left. Those numbers will soon be updated in the next week, so I apologize for not being encouraged right now. But we also have planned our 2 client projects in the queue that are scheduled to be completed by May 10th. And we have just got 2 projects which we're now awaiting like city permitting and the like for us to complete them. And yeah.
I'm gonna let Eva Linden Library to give their update.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The work completed since last meeting, we continued our preparation of design and construction documents. We presented our plans at a study session of the city design review board at the city design review board. We discussed public art with the city art and culture manager. Total expenditures reported to date is $0. Our remaining budget is $2,461,000. $2,461,052. Our planned work in the next week is to prepare a presentation for the presentation design to the review board project for approval. Meet with the city's fire council to discuss safety of our battery storage. Continue preparation of the design and construction documents and prepare for the kickoff event on April 20th.
Thank you, Majali. I'm gonna let, Tito.
Yeah.
go for
So,
the-
the Basins of Relations project is a laundry to landscape gray water installation system, so homeowners are able to use recycled water from their laundry to irrigate their gardens or fruit trees. So some work completed since our last meeting. We did some outreach to homeowners that are interested in water conservation technologies, which is the laundry to landscape and drip irrigation. We created homeowner agreements and maintenance manuals for all system types. We conducted some site visits to evaluate suitability and eligibility of interested homeowners. We've also been sourcing materials from local vendors to support installations. Completed certification of program staff and laundry to landscape system installation. Total expenditures till date is 95,000. Remaining budget is about 1.5 million. Planned work in the next 2 weeks. Our first drip irrigation installations are planned for the first weeks of April. Also hoping to install our first gray water installation for homeowners this month.
Gonna let, Framework do the update, for what's good money.
All right. So, since we last met, we completed, our leverage project with, CAL FIRE trees in the Iron Triangle, Santa Fe, Coronado neighborhood. And this was at individual residents and also at local parks. So parks like Lucas Park, we held an Arbor Day event there, and, planted roughly, 30 trees at that park. We have visited the local nursery to identify the trees that we want to plant. And we continue to, discuss, viable planting opportunities. An outreach with our green team and also with our staff. We go out individually door to door to talk about our program and our Adopt a Tree program. And I guess so far we've spent $40,000 and we have roughly $1 million left for our project.
Tito, I'm gonna let you do ADA accessible garden update too.
Cool, yeah, so another project that Urban Tilt has is we're constructing the very first ADA accessible garden at Unity Park at 16th Street in Ohio. So some work completed since the last meeting was continued the preparation of design and construction documents. We presented the plan as well at the study session of the city's design review board. We also discussed public art with the city's arts and culture manager. Total expenditures reported to date, 22,000, remaining budget 932,000. Some planned work in the next 2 weeks is to prepare for presentation for the design review board for project approval, prepare permit applications, continue drafting construction documents, and then also preparing for our TCC kickoff meeting on 4/20 for Earth Day. And another project that we have is Orchard for All. So Orchard for All is the intention to have a distributed fruit tree orchard. We're giving away 400 fruit trees a year to the project area in hopes to be able to harvest those fruits and then give them out to free programs, free farm stands, and also our free CSA program that we have within Urban Tilt, as well as our Veggie RX program, which we'll talk about in a bit as well. So some work that was completed since the last meeting, we hosted our 6th annual fruit tree giveaway at Unity Park. And we also finalized the Fruit Tree Lovers newsletter language and content and sent that out. Some total expenditures reported to date, about 30,000. Remaining budget is 1.1 million. Some planned work in the next 2 weeks is onboarding a gleaners coordinator. So we're hiring program staff to support this work. Continue to publish our Fruit Tree Lovers newsletter to fruit tree giveaway recipients. Publish a social media video with a call to action to distribute the remaining fruit trees. So we still have some fruit trees available, which I would love to connect with you all to see how we can distribute those trees. And prepare fruit tree distribution for the public kickoff event as well. And so we also have the Veggie RX program. So the Veggie RX program is a Medi-Cal-backed program that's in collaboration with Lifelong Medical here in Richmond, where doctors are able to prescribe patients produce bags in support of their food-related kind of illnesses. And so really using that as a preventative measure to support our community's health and well-being. And so some of the work that has been completed since the last meeting, we hired a new Veggie RX project manager for the start date of 4/17/2024. We completed all of our back billing invoice number 4 and progress report for January 2024. We reviewed indicator tracking plan draft. We received much needed clarity on contract agreements, invoicing, and supporting documents. We also ordered a new walk-in cooler to support our project infrastructure expansion. And this cooler will be located in North Richmond at our farm in North Richmond with Urban Tilt. Total expenditures reported to date, 18,000. Remaining budget is about 3.2 million. Planned work in the next 2 weeks is to continue developing a pathway towards our project expansion, finalizing the invoice and progress report for number 4, which is February through March, including and creating template for bills of lading and procurement tracking.
I'm just gonna do the update of the e-bike share, that is, guided through the work of the city of Richmond. We continue to work with community-based organizations, launch the e-bike system and ribbon cutting ceremony. We trained and hired staff, and in the process of, we're in the process of hiring a community manager. We still need someone. Sorry,
In the process of hiring,
a community manager. To work with the stakeholders in the community. We completed a community outreach and engagement plan for the implementation. To date, the expenditures is $1 million. $1 million. Your remaining budget is $3 million, and the plan work for the next 2 weeks is place additional bags throughout the city at identified locations. We don't know specifically the locations yet, so this is something that has to be figured out in the next couple of weeks. We are also guiding the community engagement plan. The work completed since last meeting is we had a presentation to the Iron Triangle Neighborhood Council where we brought flyers and gave a presentation similar to what we're doing today, but a more complete one about the whole branch and the projects that are included. We created postcards that have the information on the kickoff event that you all saw throughout the review that we had internally at this table, and we also printed flyers for the Earth Day event and the kickoff, and distributed that to Urban Tilt, who's actually doing the groundwork to take away the posters and the postcards and flyers. And we also created a new logo. Well, we updated the PCT flyers with the new logo and image of the group, and we got swap decided and printed. We got tote bags for the community event, and we also got bandanas for giving out to community members so they know the website of the program, so that we can guide people to come to know more about the projects. And we finalized the design of the website, which is the phase 1 of this project, and we are looking forward to get your feedback on how you believe we can improve the website and how we can add the logos of the organizations that are sitting here, plus the links to wherever you want us to guide the community members who visit that website to your own website. The total expenditures that we have here is $2,000, $2,300, and we still have a budget remaining of $2.5 million. Plan for the next 2 weeks, we have the outreach for Earth Day and the TCC kickoff event, and right now, as we're speaking, the postcards are being mailed, and we are gonna be starting after today the social media outreach from both the city and the TCC accounts, and we would really appreciate if you could help us retweeting and posting the Facebook posts that are gonna be out there for promoting the event. We know Urban Tilt is also already doing that through their website and their social media, so both are great ways to help us reshare all these publications, and you are more than welcome to do your own too, if that's something that you would like to do throughout your social media or your websites. We also have the displacement avoidance plan. The work that we have completed since last week is the team that is working with the small businesses has updated the blue database, which means all the data of the businesses that are included within the 3 neighborhoods, and they created a geo testing for the GCC area, and they are now sending messages to all the businesses to make sure that the software that they created to communicate with the small businesses is working. The total expenditure reported till now is $44,000. They still have $600,000 left, and their half plan work in the next 2 weeks is they're hosting a small businesses week event on April 28th. This will be after Earth Day event, and we have some information about this at the end of the meeting, so you can know exactly where that's going to happen and what is it about. Last but not least, the Workforce Development and Economic Opportunity Plan. We put out a request for proposals created for task 1, which is the development of a place-based strategy. And we submitted that to consultants. So we are supposed to get proposals in 2 weeks, and we will be reviewing them and selecting a consultant that will be working on how to improve the workforce development, but just focus on the 3 neighborhoods that are included in the project area. The expenditures to date, it's $4,400, and the remaining budget is $1.4 million. I will let Alice do the indicator tracking plan update.
Also, on our end, the research team has worked on creating a draft for the indicator tracking plan. We shared that with the city for a first round of feedback, and we received that. And it is my understanding that that draft has now been shared with the project partners. So we are looking forward to receiving the feedback that you all have on the indicators. And my understanding is that next steps will be understanding, like setting up meetings with the individual partners, understanding what's feasible to track, what has already been tracked. I'm hearing that there's a lot of activities that have already taken place. And so we would want to understand like how those have been tracked, and moving forward, how to create consistency in terms of what is tracked. So I'll end there with my update. Oh, sorry. And total expenditures reported today will be 0. So we have approximately $1 million left as total budget remaining.
Thank you. Now this is space for us to report out on any. Oh, I'm so sorry. I am going to take some time to first of all open the space for questions or clarifications. Does anyone here in the table have any comments, questions related to the project status report?
None here.
And then I'm going to open this to the public. Are there any questions in relationship to the projects that you guys have?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we do 6 feet, 6 feet, and we do use mulch. And depending on the soil quality, when we do the initial soil testing, we'll determine if we add amendments to soil or not. We always do mulch around the tree. And if the resident is adopting the tree, then we work with the resident on best strategies for watering that tree. When you first having the tree, you have to water at least twice a week. If the tree is a public tree at a park or in a city island, we go out and water those trees for the next years until the tree is established and rooted. If you have issues with the tree, we can call us up and come back out and try to figure out like what the problem might be. We also do tree replacements as well if the tree happens to die or not, you know.
We should now.
Oh,
That will make it look.
all right.
Then we go and he is.
Okay. Yeah.
Where did I get that tree from?
We use several nurseries, so there's Sweet Lane Nursery, Devil Mountain Nursery in San Diego, and there's another Western Star. So those are the three, mainly Devil Mountain Nursery and San Ramon. It just depends on the quality of the tree.
We have to choose. We have to be, we have to.
So right now we planted, at Worth Park, Booker T. Anderson, we planted a bunch of trees along the creek right there at Lucas Park, and then at individual residents as well.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel bad, we'll be there from.
We'll go and take, we'll go and take a look at that. It is like the first 3 years, is the most vital, it's the most sensitive time for the tree to try and get established, so it's gonna look, they're not gonna look like they're doing very well, because they're, they are gonna be struggling, and so we do a bark test on them to see if they're still green underneath the bark, and we'll go and tug on the roots and see if maybe they need another stake, if it's a high wind area, so we have that part in our route, in our watering route, and so I'll make sure to make a note of that and go check out those.
The tree there, they go to there, the tree here, people.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, question, then going to have a review on proposal.
Oh.
My question is. Yeah. And. If president of. That means everyone. Well, we. Where in the. Hey, I remember that. I haven't thinking about.
Do you guys want to respond to
Yeah,
that briefly?
so the contract, execution for this grant is fairly new. It just got executed in August. And really, we came together as partner organizations, recognizing that we all do, separate work, but, similar in benefit in the community. And so, from my understanding, our executive director, Doria Robinson, who is on city council, applied for the grant with the city of Richmond, with the component of health and well-being. And so, recognizing that Urban Tilt does our work that has to do with health and well-being, they applied, based on our scope of work on what we already do, and, came up with these projects. And in terms of disseminating the information to the neighborhoods, to the community, we're very much in that process right now. This is only our second, community meeting. We have just got into grant execution. Yes, the projects have already been decided, but yeah, we're working on getting the information out to the community.
I don't think, because when you're talking, you're saying that the community members spoke to the community members. I'm asking you what community members, so you're saying that makes sense, saying you met as a group. You didn't need to split it, but that you can't tell you met. English, I'm fine. I know you was trying to come to the country, I know that, but, not, not you. There's understand. For example.
Brazilian homes, yes. Yes.
That's fine. That's it. Or not. The design today. Or not. Yeah. Or you want.
I initially did, outreach at, Triangle neighborhood meeting, sometime before, sometime in November, actually, I met with Oscar Garcia, and we were, and we've been actually seeking to reach out to the different neighborhood triangles. Oscar was the one that was most responsive, and pretty much we came in and we talked about the program and the like. Now, to answer your,
Too long.
yeah.
It would be an arch.
I don't have the addresses right in front of me right now. I wouldn't be able to tell you if I were to look at them, but I can give you my card, and I'd love to, like, in the face between, I can tell you exactly what they are. My first thought is, I think the first, there's one that recently on Chancellor Avenue, the one that we did this week. It was a gentleman named Thomas Chancellor, gentleman named Thomas Fenster and the like, and it is in this district right here that it was installed upon. But I have my card with me. I gladly, like, let you know the addresses, and we can follow up and you'll know about that.
What address and,
Let me look it up and I'll let you know in a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please.
Yep.
Yeah, remind those entities that are being removed.
Yes.
Know that was reported. The clients. And we have the energy efficient solar, right, for these homes, and that can take up to 6 months with the solar. For our pipeline. We have about 25 that currently have the energy. These are all so far within the act triangle in the way that it's come from. These residents have been taxed, that include the energy. Right, so the battery fund has made it about order, and that's how the residents sign up for. I myself did a big tax for the program that we want those resident units. Neighborhood council will do the farmers and it is all about us to make sure that residents not allowed business that is in the city, so that we earn the trust and we got this. For us, we've done some of the
And to answer your question, that first initial home that we just installed upon is at 239 Chancellor Avenue. Zip code 94801.
Yeah,
Mm, no.
Great project, looking forward to the project. How without initiating things. And how many residents know about it, how many residents had a chance to come to a meeting and find out about it, or to party ask for the invitation. You know, I know not of the door. That's what my concern.
Yeah, in terms of community engagement, we just started, we got the full list of addresses, we received that today. So we got that from the company that is distributing the postcards, because it was difficult because the boundary of the three neighborhoods is not exactly zip code related, so we had to go and draw the lines around the neighborhood, and that's how we are gonna send you postcards. We would please ask you to let us know if they came in, because we did it with an external company, because we couldn't do it internally ourselves. So that's our first communication to let people know about the project. Matthias and myself were hired just before this project started, because the city was not able to hire anyone till we got the money from the state, and that happened in I want to say September.
Mhm.
And so it's new that we started gathering to have these conversations. You will see that the next points of our meeting are gonna be really boring because they're gonna be talking about the bylaws and the organization of the meetings that we're hosting. And that's why our effort to put out these meetings that are gonna be the community informational spaces are not there. We are creating a flyer for people to be able to come and also for people to be able to apply, because we want you guys to be part of this community too. And we are opening community seats for this community. So that is not only the organization sitting in here, but this is our second meeting only. And our first three meetings are focused on getting the community organized to be able to work with the rest of the community members.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think I heard that this is the second community. This past Saturday, we had two city officials making a presentation. Regarding things that is happening in our community. One of the speakers was Doria Rowe. And she made up to her benefit that she may have covered this. I was distracted doing something. Here, she was there. Gavino, he was there. This is this past Saturday. This is your second meeting. I just have to say, my next one being the second meeting for the community. Going through these pages, looking at what has been spent already. You've already spent millions of dollars. Really, well,
Yeah, we can tell you the exact number. I don't think we have got to even 1 million with the expenditures.
Let's go through 62, 62 now. 33, I'm not contesting over this, look at how far you have gone. And we haven't been involved, that's my question.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. And I can tell you the majority of this has been related to executing contracts, hiring staff, because we didn't have any staff to do this work. This was created specifically for these three neighborhoods. And as you know, all these organizations work within the city, including the city of Richmond. We didn't have staff for making this happen. So that's mostly staff time and hiring of staff members that are actually making this happen. And as you heard, so the majority of the organizations are just starting to get on the ground. This is our second meeting and it started last month. Our first meeting was.
This is correct, yeah, if you don't come through,
We have already asked to go to all the neighborhood councils, and we're gonna, as I told earlier, you're gonna get a postcard to get the invitation to the event that is gonna be hosted on April 20th. The opening date or the kickoff date for all the projects to publicly be open, it's April. We haven't started anything. None of this has publicly been out there till April 20. That's the start of the outreach. So you are our very first outside of this group to come here, and we're very happy to have you because we want to work with you and we want to see how you think we should best come to your neighborhoods, come to the meetings that you host, come to the organizations that you're part of. So yeah, we're excited to do that.
we have thought,
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do.
would be a contact, as a
That's fantastic.
That's the one we're talking about.
Okay, fantastic. So you got it. I'm so excited to hear that.
I wanted to touch upon a bit on your question. I wanted to touch upon your question a bit too. This work is gonna be for the next 5 years.
Yes.
We're barely in like the first mid-year, which is really setting that intention and that groundwork. And so, you know, we're gonna be in this for the next 5 years. So I'm really, looking forward to working together on how we can make the impact.
You want to say that, like, this for instance, somebody coming to get a group. You gotta gonna come through. Look.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, the invoicing and the reporting is pretty rigorous, and we're doing that on a bi-monthly basis. And so us here as project leads, are doing, monthly invoicing, putting in staff timing, putting in reports of what we're doing, what we've completed to date, and so, we have to prove that, and also could potentially get audited, after the grant and things like that, so we're making sure that we're keeping track of everything, and staying committed to what we're saying that we're gonna do, with the money.
So otherwise,
We already have the grant. We signed, the city has signed a contract with the state already, so we get reimbursed for the work we do.
Yeah, just so you know, this is a very competitive grant. This is the fourth round that the state has organized, where any city or they even tribal community and I forgot what's the other category, but anyone in the state can participate. And the city of Richmond got it after a second round of applications, because we had applied on round 3, we did not get it. And this was round 4. So that's why these projects have been, it has been a long time since they started the design with the community. And now this is the year where we got it. And then it took almost a year to execute the contract with the state. That's
it's Eddie Road, correct?
together with the organizations that are sitting in this table.
And about the, combined share,
That's the city. We don't have the manager right now.
it was saying, net to it, additional like, city, I want to know where they're going.
Toma, do you know anything about the bikes?
Yeah, well, plan with the next 2 weeks, additional like, city, identify the location of the. Back. How does it modify the one with the.
So, usually home, yes.
I was just gonna say, our next meeting is April 25th.
Can we?
Yes.
Hmm.
Oh.
Next meeting is the third Saturday. Will be either, at the Marty's Grill, which is right on there, across the street from, depending on whether it's getting my tax off. Yeah, folks in there.
And who can we reach out to follow up?
So please reach out to us, because in terms of the neighborhood council, we've been trying to figure out, the days and times that you all have here. I think Iron Triangle, they have had, a very regular one. And like, I know it's like the third Wednesday of every month in the life, and so that's been on my radar. But we all look very forward to being at the neighborhood council meeting, because the success of our programs are, based upon how you all receive us, and then the fact that you all are in partnership in some of these projects. So please, it's of great interest for us to know the frequency in which you all meet and when and where you meet, so it would be great.
One last question, on the line. Urban Hill, I know that we have the park, but there's urban hill work on any other park.
Mhm.
In the city like Santa Fe, we have South Side parking, we have San Diego. Do you really?
No, yeah, so yeah, we're mostly just along the Richmond Greenway, so it's gonna be at 16th Street, Unity Park Plaza, and then over at 6th Street as well, in between 6th and 7th. We have, some land there that we steward as well and take care of and maintain.
So your car, which you're doing is not for the community, but for.
No, it's still supposed to go benefit, homeowners in the project area. Regardless, yeah, they're all meant for all the residents of the area. Mhm.
I'm not the excuse. So that I have enough meeting. For her to get home, and ask me that I know about the meeting. We share that they had important for us, that I did here, that I told about.
Thanks for being here. You got the most important part of the meeting, so.
Yeah. Now, you look. Very. And, and then we'll find a way to work together.
Sounds good.
We have a pretty.
We appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, like, but. Well,
Yeah. Awesome. We're gonna continue with the meeting if that's okay. So, I hope you got all your questions responded and we're available for you. You got all our cards and we'll be happy to come to you to your next meetings. Thanks everyone for changing a little bit the shift of the meeting, but I think that was fantastic. So we are opening the space for recording of public comments and questions. Does anyone here in the group have any community questions or comments you received from residents that you have been working with or that have heard from that you want to share with the group? Okay, we attended the neighborhood council meeting from Iron Triangle, and we heard a few things that we wanted to share with the group. The first one was connected to bike lanes and traffic for complete streets. People were concerned about bike lanes being installed in particular locations where traffic is already difficult, and they were particularly worried about not being able to park and how the parking was going to be affected through the neighborhood streets project, and they wanted us to show the maps once we were ready to do that and share them in the presentation. The other concern that we had in the questions that we received from the residents when we presented to the Iron Triangle was that they wanted to know who was going to take care of the trees. We actually told them that it was going to be Groundwork Richmond, but they mentioned specifically the trees that were planted in McDonald Avenue, and they were concerned about those trees. We couldn't respond to that because we didn't know when those trees had been planted and who specifically had been planting them. I'm just bringing the concerns that we heard from them. E-bikes was one of the things that we heard from too. They mentioned that they were very concerned that we were spending that amount of money in bikes that could be stolen and vandalized. So they were trying to collaborate with us on figuring out what's the best way to avoid that type of things happening. And so just sharing this with you in case there's anything that you would like to consider in your projects. The other thing that we heard from was who was included in the outreach and how we're doing outreach, and you heard it today too, during the questions that we had. One of the questions was if there was money that we could use in a different way, for example, fixing potholes. This was a particular concern that we cannot address because this grant is only focused on reducing greenhouse gas emissions. So it does not have a purpose to fix streets, and we just share that with the community. So in case you get these questions, I mean, you can explain why the funding has been assigned to particular projects. And that's all that I have to report. And I don't know if
Can
you.
we address those questions here?
Yes, we did. You mean.
I mean, like right now, those questions regarding the trees on
Yeah,
McDonald?
do you want to talk about?
Well,
that?
I don't know which trees. I mean, there's a lot of trees and, all I can say is that groundwork will take care of the trees for the first 3 years that they're planted if they're in public spaces. So for example, along the street or in parks. And then after the 3 years, it's the responsibility of the city trees, they're urban forestry trees. So the city will be in charge of large scale pruning or even removing of trees, if it needs to be removed for whatever reason. As far as like when a tree is planted at an individual residence, is usually the resident is adopting the tree, therefore they are taking on the responsibility of watering the tree. Of course, we can go out and help provide some resources if they're struggling with watering, or if the tree looks like it's dying, or if it needs to be replaced. I guess it just depends on the individual situation.
Okay, thanks for sharing that with us. We will address it next time that we go to the Iron Triangle Neighborhood Council, because that's where we got those questions. We just wanted to share this with you in case it was useful for you to provide this information to us, or for you to address it if you hear it again in another meeting. Does anyone have any questions about what we talk about? No, okay. I'm going to continue with the next item in the agenda, if it's okay with everyone. So we're going to committee business items for discussion. Last meeting that we had, we talked about the special committee that was formed to work on the goal, vision statements, and committee priorities, as well as the bylaws. So 6 of the organizations that are part of this group were included in this special committee, and the draft was shared with everyone. We received comments from everyone. We actually brought the copies of the documents, and can you guys share it with the team? And we got a few comments that we're addressing to finalize the bylaws. And the only thing that we still have to figure out is the nomination process for community seats, the review of the leverage tracking requirements, and the public meeting. Yeah.
And we can you keep one of the file copies for the communities?
Which one is this?
So there's a draft version, and the draft version we printed so that you can see where the edits were made, we marked all the changes that were made, and then there's a final version, the final version. Well, it's not final, but it incorporates all the edits that were submitted. And there are some areas that are highlighted just to kind of.
One of it too. Yeah, I get one too. Okay. So we're distributing the draft of the bylaws that actually include all the goal vision statement, goal and vision statement, and the committee priorities. So just so you know what was included in there, this is just because we want full transparency and everyone participating in this process who was part of a special committee, but also for the people who did not participate, so that everyone knows what's on the document. In relationship to this review, does anyone in the committee have any questions or feedback related to what was reviewed within the special committee?
I know, like, at the last meeting, I was unable to attend, and so I know there was discussion about providing an alternate or having each organization have an alternate. I'm just curious, is this part of the bylaws?
Incorporated, yes.
Okay.
We incorporated the option to get an alternate, and we asked every organization who they wanted to nominate. And now, if you can see, we have places with the names of the organizations and the people who were nominated as alternates and the project leads.
So for now, it's just 2 folks from each organization?
Well, we let everyone make their decision. The only requirement that we asked for was that everyone who comes can make decisions on what we are talking about, and that has knowledge on what was discussed in previous meetings.
Okay, so we could have a 3rd person too, if that,
Urban Tilt actually has a third.
yeah, okay.
It is
So we
possible,
would just have to let you know, like, these are our folks.
and have the information provided to
Right.
the people who are coming. Yes,
Got it. Thank you.
you're very welcome. There's only one thing that we wanted to discuss with you, which is the 10 days before the respective meeting, for us to be able to publish the agenda. We know that it has been, hard to get like feedback for the agendas, and right now they're very focused on the objectives of the memorandum of understanding that we have, because we have to pass the bylaws to be able to coordinate this committee. So, I just want you to let us know if the 10 days work for you, so we can agree on that, and we're happy to work on that agenda. We just need your commitment to make sure that we can do this work together. And that also includes updating the
Slide deck.
yeah, the presentation that we have, so that we can share that to within the team and also with the public.
So you want that 10 days before the meeting?
Well, that's what was defined in the first draft of the bylaws. I thought it was a little
Usually it's like 72 hours. I thought
yeah,
that's like
exactly. I thought
customary.
it was too tight for us to be able
Well,
to
10 days is for the committee to review.
internally.
So, yeah, so that's
So-
how much before this meeting would you all want to get the materials to review? So that we can post it. We are posting on Friday. We have to do it at least 3 days, and since 3
Yeah.
days before this would be Sunday, we're saying Friday is when we're posting everything publicly to the website. So how much time essentially before that Friday would you
For us
like
to-
to
Internally.
review? Yeah, that's the question. or that's the
Okay.
question.
Got it.
So does
I
anyone?
think 10 days is fine, to be honest. Yeah.
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 That's good.
Sounds good, then we will leave that as it is, and we are, yeah, and we're publishing the agenda so people can see it before the meeting happens, what's gonna be discussed 72 hours before the meeting. So you can go into our website or the city website, and you can access the agendas to know what's gonna be discussed on every meeting. Okay,
So this item, we want to basically approve these bylaws.
I know.
So that would include the goal and vision statement, committee priorities, and the overall bylaws, which does include the nomination timeline. So it's a little confusing because technically that's a separate item, but we could remove it from here, but we should probably include what the timeline for when we start hiring. is. So there's like one sentence that I think is highlighted in there, but before we do, let's make sure all of those make sense.
Mhm.
Oh, so by May 1st?
It's highlighted, whatever, I mean, that's up to the committee's decision. But that was, that's
Another-
a placeholder
Mhm.
that I put in there, yeah.
So now we're discussing when are we starting recruiting the community members to be part of this committee. So for us to do that, we need to have everything set up, and that's why this discussion is happening right now. And
Yes. If you go to bylaws. That doesn't have.
yeah, so the people who join the committee, that are coming from the project area would have the same, like voice in the committee, but they will get paid. It's a $50, payment per meeting, and they will be voting with us internally in this committee too. The memorandum of understanding that we signed with the state requires us that, so we need to do that before. The community is not supposed to see the bylaws. These are defined on a document that the state provides. That is the memorandum of understanding that they created for us to sign, and it was signed within the organizations and the city who applied for the grant, because we have to respect the rules that the grant has, which it's a very long guideline for that the state provided us.
You just say this, but they have no say so in the bylaw. They don't, but they have to revise the bylaws, they sign on to become part of the community.
Yeah, and the bylaws can be modified after this, but because of how the memorandum of understanding that we signed with the state is established, we need to finish this bylaws by the third meeting. The third meeting. Second. Yeah, today we're reviewing the draft that was submitted to the whole group. And hoping that we can approve today the general things that are included in here, and then add modifications that are needed when we get community members into the committee later.
A last question.
Mhm.
Will the community, they will be notified if they can apply for.
Yeah.
I won't go live, right?
No,
Will be notified.
what we can do, if you invite us, we can come to the neighborhood council to let you know once it's open. And we're planning to do flyers, and we're planning to do social media, as well as attending meetings and community events that we get invited to.
And we're also managing, we'll have a listserv, and so anyone that signs up on the sheet here or signs up on the website will get all email notifications, including.
Let me know.
Thank you.
Very much.
All right, thank you for
Thank
coming.
you so much.
But you can join our committee.
Yeah,
Thank you.
fantastic. Well, do we have any additional comments on what Matthias mentioned, or any other things that we want to discuss from the bylaws? And we have more time, but I know every person in this special committee reviewed them, but just as an additional consideration, because we want to get today at least the general approval of this, and that includes the nomination timeline at least.
And I did try to highlight the sections that we most binding are relevant.
Mhm. And I think, yeah, I mean, we cannot solicit nominations and be reviewed by the third meeting. Be reviewed and approved. I think it's too tight.
By May 1st.
Because I think we definitely need to do outreach to be able to nominate community sits, and I think that requires at least all of every neighborhood council in doing giving some time within the social media campaigns, the city managers like weekly report, your websites and all the spaces where we can do community outreach. So
And then once they're nominated, do they have to be voted in by? This
Yeah.
group?
this committee has to review them and has to be appointing them.
So do we want to say June by our first meeting in June?
Yeah.
Would that be something that works for all of us?
Yeah.
Date that we can, or is that part of?
The MOU.
Is that part of the MOU with the state, or is that something that we can change?
I think,
I feel like it's not something we can change.
let me review quickly, because they have the MOU. I do.
Hard copy too.
Are we allowed to vote on things like via email, or does it have to be in person?
So you are allowed to vote via email if it's an emergency.
So like, for instance, this situation right here where we have to nominate community members by May 1st, if we're not able to meet again as a group, could we go like email?
That would, yes. That being said, I don't think that we have to vote community members by May first.
Okay,
But in that kind of situation where we wouldn't be able to vote before our next regularly
Yeah.
scheduled meeting, we can do an email vote and then we just cover it in the next regular meeting so that members of the public would know. And we basically have to revisit it
Mhm.
and
Right.
make it public, and you could change the decision at that point too. But I don't think that there's anything in the bylaws, or sorry, in the MOU, which says that the community members have to be decided by May first. The bylaws have to be. So we chose to put that timeline for the community members in the bylaws, but we could,
It's not here.
yeah,
It's
so we
not
can
in
move
the
that,
MOU.
say to
Just
June
review it.
Oh.
if we want.
okay.
The only one who carried it.
So we just have to vote on this by the third meeting.
Mhm.
Correct.
Mhm.
Do we want to change it for June then?
Because
Most-
So
Okay.
what we're discussing is when we can start the nominate, the review of the nomination, and we want to give at least a couple months of engagement so that we can let people know what the nomination process is and how they can apply. And one of the things that is established in here is that we need representation of at least the three neighborhoods that are working in the project area. So that is something that we will consider in the application process, at least approve one of them, one of each neighborhood, one resident from each neighborhood. So yeah,
How many communities are you,
it's three
3
to
to 6, right?
yeah, 3 to 6,
we did that, but at least one.
at least one for each neighborhood. So, I mean, if this is something that you want, we're happy to recruit two from each neighborhood. That's not something that we're concerned about, as long as we have application.
Yeah.
We're talking about, this is, it's 12 residents, well, probably three, villages. But, how does this address the seniors in the community? Have you, have that entered into the grant at all?
Yeah,
Senior residents in this.
well, one of the projects is the ADA, garden that's gonna be constructed on Unity Park Plaza. We've reached out to, several, senior homes in the area, on Harbor Way, and I've gotten feedback, to get, our senior community back out into gardening in an area that's gonna be accessible for them. And so we've asked them, what type of, garden beds do you need? What would make you feel safe, coming out into Unity Park to be able to garden again. And so, that, project in itself has reached out to seniors in the project area. As far as any other projects, I'm not too aware of it. At Unity Park, right? Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I think our intention was to have the garden in the project area, at least one of the neighborhoods, and then continue to have programming with all of the neighborhoods, and somehow, we can disseminate that information once that project is constructed, is, how do we engage our seniors in the project area? And hopefully in the greater Richmond area as well, but mostly in the project area.
Okay, so the proposal for solicited nominations to be reviewed and appointed, we said June, but I'm actually thinking, today it's April, third. So if we started after we finished this nomination process today, figuring out the outreach, we give 1 month, that would be May. And then we come to the meeting on June, having had the proposal. Do you think 2 months is enough for us to do engagement and receive proposals?
Yes.
I think we could also determine if we need more time, like if we haven't gotten enough folks signed up or that have applied, we could decide in May if we need to do more outreach.
Then do we have to keep a date to be reviewed and appointed? We can establish, for example, before our 5th meeting, so that we have enough time, and we can do it before
Yeah.
Right.
That way we have a little bit of time to just make that decision if we need an additional month.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll revise to remove to change the wording to just meeting
Before the fifth meeting.
before the meeting uh, before July.
July, yeah.
I mean, where do we want to stay, like, until all positions are filled, or until we have proper representation from each communities? I mean, instead of locking ourselves into a date, why not until all seats are filled, or until all neighborhoods are identified and,
I like that proposal because
Yeah.
that doesn't block us to have to be done, even if things are not
yeah.
working well for us, and even if the community hasn't been hearing of it, because
Mhm.
one thing is putting things out that people start looking at it later than you
Right.
expect. And sometimes it takes word to word, to mouth to mouth to get, to people's, decision making process.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is the forum here, but especially in terms of like reaching out, putting outreach for these positions, it would be interesting in being able to identify best practices amongst the orgs here, because we have a lot of expertise and strategy, and it would be good, particularly in the presence of the community, to sort of like one hand know what the other is doing, so that we all have like an outreach method, outreach way of checking in. So that way we can ensure that all parties have done sufficient outreach in the community. I mean, just a thought. I'm thinking out loud. I don't know how we do that yet, but just a thought.
Maybe we could have like a check-in next meeting, just going around and talking about our outreach generally, and maybe include strategy in that.
Mhm.
Yeah, we can include that on our next agenda if you think
Okay.
that's good too. Yeah,
Thank you.
we can definitely do that. So, we will take off the, date for the committee that is gonna be doing nomination and appointment process for community seats. And we will just say until all, all spots are, filled, so that we don't close the doors to recruit more people, during this timeline. Is there any feedback on how many seats we want to recruit on this round, or are we gonna go for the 6 of them?
I mean, if it's two from each neighborhood, that feels pretty attainable.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have any other questions related to the bylaws? No. Do we have any public comment in relationship to the discussion that we're having about the bylaws?
Not real question, but I just think we could do this. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. As soon as you can, but there are some.
Mhm.
For sure, and we already have the application process on, created. We're gonna upload it to our website, and we'll be happy to share it, during the kickoff meeting, but also with you, so you can help us do that recruitment if that's something that, you'll be willing to participate in.
I can get a comment here.
Fantastic.
I don't know if this is important, how can mayor keep staff when this grant was approved? And that was some of the grants that we follow up, make sure.
Yeah, we'll be happy to do that.
Okay.
Is there any other, public comment or question?
It's impossible to read it and then file, see it and read it. So I don't know how to comment on it.
Thanks for letting us know.
Oh, well. Mm.
So maybe a suggestion I can take this back and make the revisions that we discussed, and then we can even post that to the website, so that next meeting we can just vote to approve the final document. Does that make sense?
If that's something that everyone agrees on. So what we're gonna do is publish this so you can read it, and we're not approving it today. So you can, review it on the website and have, the opportunity to read it and come back and we can approve it on our next, meeting.
And we will publish on the website. We'll also have an email address on the website that you can respond to, directly with any comments or feedback on.
You're very welcome. Okay, there's, I think the motion would be to postpone the discussion about, this bylaws and approve them, try to approve them next meeting, because we need to approve them by next, meeting, which is meeting CSC 3. So, can I propose a motion for, postponing the voting for this item, till the next meeting?
Motion second. Motion second.
Thank you. And now we have to vote on the motion, right? So, Rich City, right? Project lead, UC Berkeley, project lead, Roberts, Richmond, project lead,
Yes.
Dr. Land, project lead,
Yes.
Grid Alternatives, project lead,
Yes.
Urban Hill,
Yes.
thank you. Okay, motion passed, voted by all the, members of the committee. So, the other two topics that we have left is the review of leverage tracking requirement.
I think you should maybe just quickly look at the nomination form, or do we not want to do that? It's one of the items. I
We,
just want to make sure
yeah, but do we have it in printed version?
we don't have a printed version, so we can share it on the screen if helpful. It's pretty short.
Do you have it?
Well, I just emailed it to you if you want to just open it on your computer and you're sharing here, or I can share directly. I thought I used the two.
There we go. So. Okay,
The top one. It's short, so I think.
we shared this on the package that, we sent you at the beginning of the, conversation that we were having. And so,
And I apologize to members of the public, we did not print this out. We did email it so we could review it. But if you would like to review it, this is the nomination form, so questions basically we'll ask members of the public that are interested in joining. We can read these out loud right now so that you can all review with us, but we can also make it publicly available or email to you directly so that you can review if there's anything you want to add to this. But basically what we would do is we would receive submissions and then we would discuss and review as a body publicly at meeting.
so, for people who are sitting in the back, and it's hard for them to see, and for me, it's really hard to see the screen. Honestly, first of all, the first part is general information. We have, are you nominating yourself or someone else? This is considering that we might be, having proposals of someone that is not self-nominated and is being nominated by another community member. If nominating someone else, please be sure they are aware of nominating them. We can't let people be nominated if they're not aware that they're, gonna be part of the committee. This is, sorry, I missed to use this part of it, is the explanation of, the stakeholder committee, collaborative stakeholder committee and the nomination. So thanks for your interest in serving and nominating someone to serve on the Richmond Rising Collaborative Stakeholder meeting. The committee provides guidance, recommendations, and assistance to Richmond Rising projects, leads implementing the Transformative Climate Communities Grant. Appointment of nominated committee members requires a 2/3 of vote of the committee. Completion of the following survey helps ensure the committee is best able to appoint community members who reflect the neighborhoods and values of the project area community. Nominated members must be residents or individuals that operate a business or organization in the project area and may include youth. Remember that we also have the youth fellows to be included in this committee. Appointed members are eligible and invited to serve through September 2028. However, we understand that this commitment may not be feasible and ask the appointed committee members are willing to commit to at least 1 year. So people who apply at least have to stay for a year in the committee, though they can stay for 5 years if they wanted to. Please reach out to DCC at ci.richmond .ca.us with any questions you have, and additional information regarding the Richmond Rising Program can be found in the link to the website. So that was the first question. Are you nominating yourself or someone else? Myself, someone else? And then, I have to respond, so, if I'm nominating myself, I, write here, my name. And I think we might want to do this questions bilingual, because as you can tell, my computer speaks Spanish, so it tells, it translates to the
We
answer.
are intending to make this one bilingual, but we're waiting for final approval
Yeah.
from the committee before we translate.
Perfect. Using no more than 700 words, please describe the qualifications you or the person you are nominating would bring to this position. This may include personal lived experience, community references, professional experiences, or local projects and volunteer work. Please note that your response may be shared with interest members of the public and should not include any sensitive or private information. And so, right. What neighborhood do you or the person you are nominating represent? Coronado, Iron Triangle, Santa Fe, other. All these are mandatory questions. Please provide contact information so we can contact you or the person that you are nominating. Example, phone number, email address, or WhatsApp. And
You might have to go in before.
Your name.
And we put other because there are a few addresses that technically aren't part of the three.
I think you're gonna be.
Not many, but
I missed the one, right?
you can do that.
There we go. So. Oh, it doesn't let me go. Did I miss?
But you gotta put the other, you have to fill in the other. Scroll down to the neighborhood
Uh-huh.
and I would just click one of the other ones.
And demographic information. What is your race and ethnicity? What's your gender?
You don't have to fill it out.
I don't, okay.
And there is text above that says you don't have to fill this out.
And so this registers all the information that we would be requesting for folks to include. Do we have any comments in the committee about this or questions related to the form?
Is there gonna be paper versions? Sorry, parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and we can distribute them in different locations so people can see them and send it to us or mail them to us.
Okay.
Sure. We could probably put at the address of the city at the very end so people can know where to mail it or where to send it, yeah.
I know it says youth, is there like an age limit? Do people have to be at least 16 or 18?
I think under 24.
Okay, is that stated somewhere in the?
We did not, and maybe we should ask the question, are you under 24 years? Just to know, because we have to decide to include at least 2 youth members within the community. So yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you for bringing that up.
Or what another way to note it would be I know transitional age youth typically 16 to 24 or 17 to 24. Would it be suffice? Would we go lower than 16? Or are we looking to be in that age range?
Anyone under 24, I think
Oh.
works, as long as they want to be part of the community.
Unless you want to make a limit.
Do you want people younger not to be?
I
able
thought
to
there was an
participate?
age
I think
requirement in the bylaws.
Yeah.
I saw it and I can't find it. Yeah, it says 16 to 24.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah, well, then we can establish age, because we didn't ask for age in the forum. So maybe we add that, so we know,
The demographic.
yeah.
And that way we can make sure we're representing seniors.
And youth.
And youth, yeah.
I love that. Thank you, Lorena. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I'll do that.
Can we ask for addresses to just confirm that they're in the right neighborhoods? Or within that project area?
We can ask for addresses. We just will not share it with the
Yeah.
public. Yeah. Just to verify that people live actually in the neighborhoods or within the project area. Yeah. So we're adding addresses, we're adding age to the form, and the reason that we're adding age is we require 2 youth two people who are,
16.
16 to 24 to be part of the community. So we include youth in the.
Well, those are the fellows.
Oh, is that different?
That is different than the 6 community members.
Oh,
So there's.
so that's in addition,
In addition,
but they would use the same application. process?
but I think we can recruit them that way too.
Yeah,
Not true.
Oh, okay.
That would help us with the recruitment process,
That
actually.
makes sense.
That's not a bad idea. Okay.
okay, so I'll make these edits and we will send out an email and we'll probably put them online and then also maybe that can just be one item next meeting that we vote to provide. So we can make revisions and then we'll bring them.
The final version.
Now.
So, we're gonna publish the changes that were discussed. Now I'm gonna open this. Is there any public comment related to this conversation that we're having?
I think that the thing that with why 1 year each to me 1 year situated where we're now time things happen and overnight. So then 1 year one and not you might not even say a thing you have time to chair that year. No, they're fine, you're at this stage. So that it's part of going on and not just in and out. They don't know,
Yeah.
how to get it situated. What they going. So I think 2 years.
Do you think people would like to get that requirement? Like, would people be okay with that?
They know what's right for,
Mm.
and they can, well, and, they have to understand that, but I think that 2 year minimum, 5 years, for the whole, at least 2 years.
Thank you.
I think maybe a caveat being you don't have to abide by the 2 years.
Mhm.
Things
can
change
age
very
out.
quickly, yeah. Yeah, they can age out, they can go to college.
Yeah.
A lot can change for youth, so maybe
Mhm.
2 years minimum for the adults.
Mhm. Because originally wasn't the term 2 years and then each person gets to vote?
And we made the decision to change it to 1 instead of 2, because
Okay.
we thought it was a
Okay.
lot of time commitment for some folks to be able to participate. Okay, are there any other public comments related to this? Okay.
Yeah, we have with
I was just gonna say, I was just talking to Joseph, he started a while at Mary. And we were talking about historical knowledge. And some of the meetings are just, he's not gonna, figure out the finish a lot. So I think the same thing would be good for this community. Do some historical knowledge. It changes every year. So.
Mm. Mhm.
Yeah, we can require people to try to stay. I mean, we cannot, yeah, we cannot push anyone to stay for 2 years, but yeah, we can ask them for the commitment, which doesn't mean that people are gonna. Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is we'll be doing this recruitment. We will have an open recruitment all the time. In case anyone leaves, we have some other folks who are interested in the position, and then we can call if someone leaves. So that'll be open, so we can get people excited about it, and maybe they can find a space at some point. Okay, so I'm gonna.
Actually, could I say one more? So I do like the idea of the 2 year thing, but maybe with some neighborhoods, it might be difficult to recruit folks. So maybe we can say it's a 1 year minimum, but folks who can commit for 2 years are weighed heavily or have a preference
Oh,
in the
that's
selection process. And that way we don't lose out on potential good candidates.
So we add the question, can you commit, for how long you can commit, and we add 1 year, 2 year, 5 years.
Yeah. And then the longer they commit, maybe we weigh that application a little more heavily for the selection process.
So then would we add an item in the form that asks, are you able to serve for 2 or more years? And then we put the caveat that, you are allowed to serve for less, but we are prioritizing collectively longer.
Mhm.
I think that's a good idea, yeah.
Mhm.
That way we can select people who can stay longer, but if there's people who don't wanna be committed for 2 years, we still have options. Okay, that sounds good. I think I agree with that. So, I'm gonna propose a motion to include the comments that have been, suggested today, and that we, send them to you and post them online so we can share with community members, and, we'll approve next meeting. If that's okay.
Second,
Thank you. I'm gonna go for the voting, grid alternatives,
Yes.
Trust for Public Land,
Yes.
Groundwork Richmond,
Yes.
Music Berkeley. Yes. Rich City Rights, Morgan Hill.
Yes.
We approve the motion, with, the votes of all the members present in the meeting. Okay, so
Sorry. Recruitment plan? We want to talk about that?
we're not gonna have time. So I'm just gonna go back to the presentation. Oh. I imagine that everyone is tired and we have a lot of, other topics to talk about, but I think we can talk about the rest of the topics except for the public government, because I think that's something that we need to talk about today. Our public health is happening April 20th. We are, working with, Urban Till, particularly Our Lady is coordinating a lot of what is, we actually are gonna send you the flyer. We wanted to get feedback from you today, but I think it might be a little complicated to do that, so we just wanna show you the public health posters that you will be seeing around. This design was done by Urban Till, but the organizations who decided to work as partners, and this doesn't mean that the rest of the groups in here are not gonna be participating. It just means that they volunteered to work or provide resources to the event. Everyone is welcome. Everyone has a space to do tabling if you want it, and you just have to put yourself in contact with Our Lady to do that.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, have a good night.
Have a great one.
Yeah.
And that was a very easy one. Is there anything else, Chio, that you want to bring up in relationship to the event of April 23rd?
No, yeah, come prepared to disseminate all information about what's going on.
Just so we know, who's participating in tabling? Everyone.
Well, I'm kind of confused, like, why aren't all the logos represented? If this, like, I know you said that you have to be working at the event, but this is the kickoff for the whole project, so I feel like they should all be represented, whether or not we're tabling.
Yeah, we're just going with how Urban Till usually organizes their partnerships, and they send an email to all of you asking if you wanted to be partners, and then if you said yes, the email said that you were gonna be included in the logos, and so this was informed to you earlier. I was not the one who coordinated this, but we made sure that everyone got that email. If this is something that you would like to do, I think we could still change it, but it's not gonna be reprinted. That's the only thing that we cannot do.
Yeah, well, yeah.
There was a TCC specific postcard that was sent out that has everybody's logo on.
Um,
Yeah, we sent a postcard, the one that they showed, was sent to every household in the project area, and that
Thousand flyers.
yes, 2,000 flyers, and they all have the logos of all your organizations. That was the one that we shared with you, so.
Okay. I thought we did reply to Our Lady, but I could be wrong.
I will check in with Our Lady if you want.
I can check in with.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I want to see you all there, and the other question that I have for you is who wants to be part of the ceremony? Because the vision that we have, there's gonna be a ceremony from 12 to 1. If any of you want to participate, just saying a little piece about TCC and the project, we are willing for you to be part of that event. So yes, you guys want to be there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we're already we invited the Strategic Growth Council because they have to know about all the events that we host. We might get someone from the leadership from the state to come. So we will have them and the mayor of the city and any organization who wants to be participating. That's what we thought, and we wanted to discuss it with you too.
Could you go for like maybe a run of show for planned for that day or for the kickoff itself?
You want to?
Yeah, like.
An
do we-
agenda?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
but
like
maybe
the timing.
You mean right now? Right now?
Or at a later time works too, but.
Yeah, I mean, we included in the agenda what was gonna happen, but the ceremony is just happening from 12 to 1, and we can define like who will be the speakers. We didn't want to do that without you being informed of that, so.
And I learned, Our Lady has sent an email saying next Monday or the Monday of the 15th,
We
there'll
have a
be like a
meeting this
physical
week.
walkthrough.
Yeah.
Perhaps that might be an ideal
Time to touch
time
base
to
on
do a
that.
run of show and like that, folks can.
Yep.
I have to find something to attend then, but
Does that sound like a good way of dealing with it?
I think so. Yeah, I initially had some confusion because I went to Our Lady's meeting of Earth Day thinking that it was for the TCC kickoff and not. So then I got a little confused of like what was the kickoff gonna be, because I think I was one of 2 people that showed up to that meeting and I was like, oh, this is not the right meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was confusing also on our end, obviously, because we didn't reply to the right email. There's also multiple events happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we were involved with a different event and anyways, yeah.
No, then would you like to participate in the ceremony? So like you have a place in the event properly?
Yes, yeah, we would.
That sounds good. So we have Britt and MC and Robert Richmond interested in being part of that ceremony. Is that what I'm hearing? Is anyone else?
Tito is also interested, but how long, or do we have a deadline of when we need to get back to you? Kyle?
No, I mean, we're defining just as we wanted to have this conversation with you before knowing what else was to be done. I think the only thing that we have to do is limit the time that we have for every partner, and the more people that we have in the ceremony, the least time that we'll have for each of us.
and this ceremony time is from noon to 1. Oh, okay.
The event is gonna be hosted for
Right,
10 to 1.
dedicated, yeah,
10 to 1.
10
Yeah,
to 1, yeah,
it's just the last piece of it, so
all right.
we have the largest amount of people by that time.
I remember last year, I went to the event at Unity Park last year. It was great. The Danzantes, I remember that.
Yeah, the MLK Day event, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any question related to this item that we have? Is there any public comment in relationship to the public kickoff event? That is a done deal. It's April 20th. It's gonna be hosted in Unity Park as it always is. We just joined this event because we know there's around 1,000 people coming to this event every year, so that's when we decided to join this organization to be able to address the people who join the activities. Hey, can you say that again? We're joining Unity Park and we're until. Okay, I don't think we have a motion for this topic in particular, except for just knowing which members are interested on being part of the ceremony, if that's okay. Tito, is Urbantel wanting to be a part of the ceremony?
I can check in about that. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure someone will be available.
Yeah, and you let us know who's the speaker that you want to represent the organization. It can be either you or anyone else in the organization who has been involved with this.
Okay,
Sounds good. So, we will follow up. The motion would be to follow up on the speakers and, And that will be part of the ceremony that we'll be hosting from 12 to 1 in the Earth Day celebration at Richmond Rising kickoff. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. And I'm gonna get a voting, Great Alternative.
Yes.
Trust for Public Land,
Yes.
from Richmond,
Yes.
UC Berkeley, Rich City Rights.
Yes.
Motion approved by all the members of the committee, and, because of the timeline that we have today, I am gonna just request, if there's any other items that you want us to include next meeting.
The outreaching.
Yeah, and outreach,
Assessment plan.
update, convergence, best practices discussion.
Fantastic, we will definitely do that.
It would be reasonable to include discussing reporting at the next meeting, since we'll be having meeting with project partners, just so that it's a good check-in moment for us to know what folks are doing, how that's going, and if we can provide any support.
Definitely, Alicia. Do you want us to include it for
That would
the
be
next thing? Fantastic, yeah, we're happy to do it. Is there any other agenda request from the meeting? Are there any topics that you would like us to address on the next committee meeting?
Next meeting,
Yeah, that meeting will be posted the first week, the first Wednesday of next month. That's May. May 1st, right, actually?
Oh, yeah.
May 1st would be.
so that committee.
No, yeah.
Community will be invited, again.
Community is always invited to come in. We are gonna send you invitations for the people who sign up, and we're gonna send you.
So how do you put the flyers and the how?
We haven't any flyers, no flyers yet.
So how are you supposed to engage with the community? That they allow me to get here because, no. But, how are you supposed to, get the community?
You mean the community to the meeting or to apply for the community?
And talk about, you know, applying.
Right now, we only have social media and the city's website, and
Everybody is not-
yeah, no, I know.
I'm seeing a group here and, that's what we're working on now, so we have a lot of things that,
How would you want us to do that?
community of Hispanic, that's where the. And the businesses, they should be represented too.
How do you want us to do outreach? Because on the first three meetings, we were not pushing the outreach because we need to organize a committee, but we're happy to do it.
So, my question is, how are you going to?
Yeah, our plan is to do in-person community outreach to your neighborhood meetings, which seems to be working
The
now.
council is one.
Yeah, we're also doing social media and we're creating flyers, but they're not finalized yet. Because we prioritize having this ready for people to be able to know the rules and then get
And
out.
there has to be something that, piques their attention, you know,
Mhm.
to come here. And to really let them know what, you know, going on without really going into
Okay.
the process of this. It is going to be, it's going to be, by going into all. Gotta be something that really. They're interested in.
Yeah.
So your approach is going to have to be one of kind of excitement and something that we could there as resident in these various three communities that give our community.
We'll focus on outreach, and we're gonna be doing also the event on April 20th, which we will think will be a good one for outreach. Also, Boulder Park is supporting also already with the flyers, that you got from here. Yeah, they're gonna support us. There's a lot of organizations that are being part of this, event. Boulder Park is actually the, one of the leverage projects that are working within this grant too. Yeah.
I would think lawyers want to try it to
Definitely.
encourage people to come and speak.
Mm,
Want to set people up.
mm.
If they come on the 20th for a celebration, then we could put the phone in the hands of the next meeting, maybe, whatever it is. You know, come out to the work and all.
And table, you know. like,
Yeah.
You have a table on every day. You know.
Fantastic.
I'm sorry if this is overstepping. Would it be possible maybe to have like a poster like that put up, like that's just big and there? So if people happen to pass by, it has the date of the meeting. It says that everybody's invited. So like if I happen not to stop by on the table that is having the information, I just like, it's big, I see it.
Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea. We can get both, flyers in a couple of posters to post around. And we'll share that with you too, so you can have one in the places where you are doing outreach. We're happy to do that too.
And if there is a poster like a QR code, that's able to access it digitally just to
Fantastic.
propagate the message. Well,
So would you like us, the question was, if you wanted us to add something to the agenda, so you want to know how we're doing outreach for the for the community stakeholder. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay, we'll do that we'll put that on the agenda, on the next agenda.
And for urgent, are you going to have? Are you on the program to? The presentation.
Yeah, from 12 to 1.
And then you need to offer something too. You know, that's how you, if you offer something that. That's good for the people, you know, so you have to think, okay, I've got a little money, so we can come up with something.
Sounds great.
You're gonna come up with some kind of tip, if it's nothing but fine, how would you?
Yeah, it's 8:01, so I just want to acknowledge that because I know this committee is set from 6 to 8. But I just want to open this for general announcements. That means anyone in this group that has any events going on or members of the public have events happening in the project area. Is there any event that you would like to be reporting on or that you want to invite the team, the residents and the project leads to attend?
I did want to mention that there's an urban forestry advisory committee where community members are also invited to come in. And if you have any tree concerns, these meetings are held at City Hall. It's the third Monday of every month from 6 to 8. And again, they're open to the public, have open seats as well. And so this encompasses the entire city of Richmond, not just the neighborhoods here. This is also another opportunity for you to voice any concerns that you may have about trees. The what? The grass? Yeah. The city. Yeah, I just read that. Yeah, so that is a great question for the city parks and rec department, since they're the ones who cut the grass. But again, those urban forestry advisory committee meetings, that is a platform for community members to come and voice your concerns and your comments, and I'm happy to pass on that information when we meet with them, but I'm just want to remind them that there is another avenue on another platform for those. Yeah.
And last but not least, the displacement awareness team shared the small business fair that is happening on April 28th from 12 to 5. And small businesses are from the whole city. This is not specifically for the project area, but all the project area people are also invited. So I'm just sharing this with everyone. And please join us April 28th too. And the meeting is adjourned. I apologize for the extra time that we had, but
Question.
oh,
I just have one,
yeah. So go ahead.
on the meeting that the first, mayor, about that. Every of our candidates that we put on project in March, and we're gonna be in the neighborhood all the way until the end of June. Candidate. So if you're another project, folks, Richmond being, is that what that is, a legit program?
Thank you.
Oh, it's not a scam.
I wonder if, we had gotten a copy of the mayor's letter that approved our program. Wonder if, it might be helpful to get one of those over to you. I'm not gonna share the one that we have, but it would be good to have one with, your logo on it. Maybe- We have I'm sorry. We have an approval letter from the mayor's, from the office of the mayor that recognizes our program. And we've had it for a year now. Maybe we can speak more offline tomorrow a little bit about it, in terms of like preparing and updating one that can have Kusiki's logo on it as well.
For sure. If you know, I just think it's both the people at the,
Okay.
Thanks, everyone. Now the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.
I'm in favor